Another cold night here in East Tennessee. Live look right now, Cumberland County and Crossville. This is Main Street. Traffic moving along okay. Most roads are fine. There still is a little bit of snow on some of the grassy areas, and this is what you have to be wary of. Parking lots, some side streets, they look a little glazy. They could be icy out there. Not seeing a whole lot right now in Sevier County. This is Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies, all quiet there. But we have had these random flurries throughout the day today. I think we may see a few more tomorrow into Kentucky, but I'm actually expecting just a little more sunshine for areas Knoxville southward. But man, it's cold. Teens already on the plateau. Let's look at the satellite replay where you see the white shading. That's where we have a clearing sky. The dark blue, that's where those thicker clouds are. But we are, again, starting to see a little bit of a lesser cloud cover, if you will. And that's going to allow temperatures to really drop quickly through the overnight hours. Most are going to end up into the teens, maybe even some single digits across portions of the plateau up into Kentucky. Highs tomorrow, you may get back to the freezing mark if we see a little bit of sunshine, but again, more clouds than sun. I'm being a little pessimistic for our counties that border Tennessee and Kentucky. It would be Knoxville southward where we see just a little bit more. Overnight into Friday morning, upper teens to, we'll say, low 20s, and then barely at the freezing mark for many as we go into Friday, but slightly warmer to the south and east. I'll explain why that's going to be important here coming up in a minute. But here's kind of the timing of the wintry weather arriving. About 8 to 11 south and west, about 10 to 1 here in the valley, and noon to 3 areas to the north and east. We'll be able to shrink this down a little bit as we get closer to this event, but it's got a lot of dry air it's got to overcome first. Initially as this gets going. I'd say the heaviest opportunity for the snow or precipitation between about 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. So let's take a look. This is 7 o'clock in the morning. As I mentioned, by late morning to midday, we're seeing that moisture move northward. I talked about this earlier in the week that there's an opportunity we could see some sleet or ice pellets mix in with that. It looks like that could certainly be the case. Let's go into 3 o'clock. You see that pink showing up. That's the sleet. Areas to the south. Then the question becomes, how far north does that get? This model run taking a little further north up into the Knoxville area as we go through the afternoon and into the evening, and then it starts to wind down and end as some light snow or maybe even some freezing drizzle in some spots. So why is that important? Well, sleet, of course, are ice pellets, but what that can often do is cut down on the snow totals. That's why I've said from the beginning of this, don't worry so much about how much snow you're going to get, because if you see sleet mixed in, it could actually make your travel worse across the area. Here's kind of what we're thinking. In general, 2 to 3 inches of snow for most areas, but some isolated 4 to 6 inch totals certainly seem possible, except we're kind of focusing on this area towards the foothills where we may end up seeing less in the way of snow, but more in the way of sleet or maybe even some freezing rain. Again, doesn't mean your travel is going to be any easier. It just means you're going to see less in the form of snow. That means the higher snow totals can end up actually being further to the north and west along portions of the plateau into Kentucky. But it all depends on where exactly this band sets up. I still think this could shift a little bit as we go over the next day and a half. So just stay tuned. But as I've been saying all along, we do expect travel issues, and those are going to stick around for a while. Power outages low. I don't think it'll be widespread. There's not a lot of wind with this, but can't say your power won't go out. I mean, it's always a possibility. So just make sure you do have some safe alternate ways to get some heat if you need it, all right? Let's look at the 7-day forecast. Weather aware Friday as the snow develops and moves in. Tapers off overnight into very early Friday. Not much of a warm up though Friday afternoon, only mid-30s, and then it's cold, mid-teens by the time we get to Sunday morning. So even if we see some melting, yeah, we're going to refreeze there. Same thing, 36, a little bit more sun melting, but right back to freezing on Monday morning at 22. Another cold front comes through on Monday. Believe it or not, it squeezes out a few more flurries, but the bigger thing is it brings in some even colder air. We're back close to freezing for Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon with teens and 20s in the morning. So basically, when we see this moisture fall, it could be around for a while in spots.
Yeah, and definitely cold.